Chapter 212, Actor. Franca carefully calculated the time and inquired with meticulous detail, what perils lie at the altar? How much progress has Susanna Matthijs made in her recovery today? Upon hearing Franca's question, Lumian made a rough conjecture about her thoughts. If it was possible, they could seize the opportunity to destroy the altar and eliminate Susanna Matthijs, who was now weakened once and for all. Before departing from Salle de Bal Brise to track down the impostor Ive, Lumian had contemplated a similar issue. Since Rentes had taken Charlie underground, he believed their destination was Susanna Matthijs's hiding place. Consequently, when he retrieved the carbide lamp, he also retrieved a few bundles of detonators from the safe, hoping to utilize the unique environment to blast those intruders to their demise. Rentes's hazy, pale face took on a hint of sanctity. The altar is the altar. Only the light of my Lord exists. There is no danger. Lumian muttered to himself, standing by the wall of spirituality. By stating it that way, it only heightens the danger. Rentes continued, I do not know the exact condition of Susanna. All I know is that 2 weeks ago we could not see her, but she would occasionally make sounds. Last week, she could communicate with us normally, and we could perceive her when we activated our spirit visions. Today, she remains the same as before, but she appears extremely feeble. Based on Rentes's account, Lumian made a preliminary estimation. Susanna, who was originally a fallen tree spirit equivalent to Sequence 5, is now nearing Sequence 6. If Susanna had not been hiding at the Mother Tree of Desire's altar, Lumian would have considered it worth the risk. Franca pondered for a moment and spoke. Do you typically offer prayers at the altar and receive boons? Yes, Rentes replied with a nostalgic tone. Susanna is our priestess. She enables us to experience the Lord's love for the world and unveils everyone's true desires, allowing us to truly understand ourselves. Upon hearing this, Franca decided to forgo further inquiries and seek the truth in the details. Is the altar usually protected? Susanna is always there. Rentes's blurred, pale face swayed gently in the mirror. Franca gazed at the makeup mirror in her hand and queried, was the altar under anyone's protection during the 2 weeks that Susanna was severely injured? Rentes's spirit responded truthfully, no. Franca couldn't help but turn her head and glance at Lumian. She realized that he too appeared disappointed and regretful. From Rentes's answer, they both discerned a crucial fact. The altar possessed a concealed and formidable protective mechanism. Otherwise, regardless of its underground concealment and the difficulties in locating it, they would need to consider guarding against bounty hunters or cave adventurers fond of searching for treasure in underground Trier. Simultaneously, they would have to be cautious of smugglers who might have temporarily altered their routes or wandering university students. Franca let out a sigh, deciding that it would be best to leave the altar and Susanna Matthijs in the hands of the authorities. The evil spirit still needed 2 more days to recover, and she and Lumian had already discovered the whereabouts of the altar. They had ample time. Franca shifted her focus and inquired about something else. How many members are there in the Bliss Society at Theatre de l'Ancien, Cage of Pigeons? Not many, Rentes's blurry face with flickering dark green eyes responded. But I only know a few. Ive Hedsey, and I report to Mapu Mayer. He is the theater manager and represents Susanna in the core affairs of the Bliss Society since she became an evil spirit. Why choose a man? Isn't it believed that women only love women? It would be easier to communicate with the other core members of the Bliss Society if it were a woman, Franca objected. Are you certain there's no hidden significance in this conversation? Lumian sensed Madame Hidden Blade's curiosity piqued. Rentes's voice drifted as he replied, Mapu Mayer used to be Susanna's lover. Franca clicked her tongue and sighed. So, we have the High Priestess going against the principles of the organization, loving both men and women. As she spoke, she cast a glance at Charlie, who appeared bewildered and terrified. Rentes didn't shy away from revealing the truth about Mapu Mayer. Before Susanna joined the Bliss Society, they were lovers. Furthermore, he was the only one who could make Susanna feel at ease and relaxed. After her divine awakening and embracing her faith in my Lord, she transformed the Bliss Society and recruited Mapu Mayer. However, their intimate relationship ceased. When she became an evil spirit, she no longer limited her affections to women and resumed her connection with Mapu Mayer. Meanwhile, she sought out other targets, infiltrating their dreams and draining their energy. She would fall in love with them before killing them. Charlie's face grew paler with each passing word, as if he had fallen into an inescapable nightmare that would only end in death. Franca, who had seriously contemplated having her lover Gardner bear her child, commented, "This is all rather twisted." She then smiled and remarked, "Does Mapu Mayer enjoy wearing green hats?" "No, he now exclusively wears a black top hat. He even meticulously grooms the tips of his beard." Rentes dismissed Franca's speculation. Lumion recalled the mention of a woman's death in Onnet Town during Mr. K's gathering. If Mapu Mayer receives a boon and becomes a male fallen tree spirit, could he enter women's dreams and induce erotic fantasies to drain their energy, gradually weakening them until they perish? The Bliss Society consists of women as its core members, emphasizing that they only love women. It is unlikely for male members to attain such high levels of power. Those incidents are not a result of the Bliss Society, but they too believe in the mother tree of desire? Or could it be due to women loving women? Franca pressed on with her questioning. "Why don't you even know the number of members in the Bliss Society at Theater de Alanchen, Cage, a Pigeons? So, other than Susanna, there are no female members among the Bliss Society members you're familiar with." Rentes's pale, blurry face seemed to contort. "Only Mapu Mayer interacts with the female members. While I'm uncertain about the current status of female members at Theater de Alanchen, Cage, a Pigeons, I can speculate on who they were in the past." "How?" Franca inquired curiously. Rentes replied, "Those who joined our theater started as supporting actresses. Through honing their acting skills, they eventually became the leading ladies before they left. They were the core members of the Bliss Society. The theater was established as a safe and dependable venue for them to fulfill their inner desires until they could gain initial control." "Why must they act?" Lumion recalled Rentes's various performances. Rentes struggled for a moment before explaining, "We were blessed with a boon equivalent to a sequence 7 called Actor. This gift enables us to evoke a deep yearning for attention and a desire to perform in our targets. It also awakens our own hidden desire to showcase ourselves and perform. Before we fully master the power of this boon, we cannot restrain this impulse. Therefore, we require a proper stage to satiate our desires without arousing suspicion. Every applause from the audience is a validation for us." A peculiar sequence. Instead of immediately attacking Rentes, I confronted him. I failed to utilize the ritual silver dagger in time to suppress my explosive desires because unknowingly, my own desire to perform was awakened. Lumion came to a realization. Franca clapped her hands, exclaiming, "That explains it. No wonder I was so immersed in acting today." She smiled and inquired, "Does your ability to disguise, as Ive and Seal, also come from Actor?" Rentes's face nodded slightly. "We can manipulate our muscles, skin, and bones to a certain extent. We possess all the necessary skills for disguise, including makeup techniques and prop production. Moreover, actors have the talent for imitation. They can convincingly portray anything. If they act as an ordinary person, their astral projection will appear ordinary as well. If they portray a soldier, they'll display remarkable combat and marksmanship. What if they act as a woman? What about acting as a beyonder?" Franca and Lumion raised their questions. Finally, the two of them understood how the fake Ive could deceive official beyonders, and why the theater performers at Theater de Alanchen, Cage, a Pigeons excelled in their craft. Working with real actors every day, it was no wonder their acting skills were top-notch. Rentes's spirit spoke in a dazed manner. To portray a woman, you need to prepare props in advance, such as fake breasts and long hair. When acting as other beyonders, if I have observed them beforehand, I can replicate their corresponding abilities, but they won't have tangible effects. They are more like illusions. However, if I were given the opportunity to closely observe and learn from a beyonder over several months, I could perform similar but significantly weakened abilities." "Impressive indeed," Lumion sighed, then asked in a deep voice, Who were you impersonating when you emanated that powerful aura? None other than Susanna, as she connects with the altar's aura while conducting the boon ritual. Rentes revealed a trace of piety and reverence. Franca and Lumion exchanged glances, grateful that they had abandoned the idea of heading to the altar to eliminate future troubles. Based on Rentes's response, it appeared that when Susanna merged with the altar, she could exhibit power at a demigod level. Do actors possess any other abilities? Franca inquired. Rentes shook his head. No, however, Mapu Mayer once cautioned me against becoming too engrossed in my roles while acting. Lumion seized the opportunity to ask, what are the names of the other sequences corresponding to actor? Rentes's voice took on a sinister tone. Sequence 9 Scrooge, Sequence 8 Sex Addict, Sequence 6 Recipient, and Sequence 5 Baby Cupid. Beyond that, I am unaware. Quite fitting, Lumion, who was acquainted with the abilities of Scrooge and Sex Addict, questioned further, what does recipient entail? It involves craving success and recognition from high society or the public, Rentes explained. Curiosity piqued, Franca asked. It seems that you actors aren't able to fully control your corresponding desires at every sequence. At Sequence 5, won't your desires explode upon encountering anything? In truth, as they progress through the sequences, individuals can gradually gain control over their corresponding desires, Rentes clarified. For actors, their primary desire is acting. Their desires for wealth and the opposite sex are only slightly stronger than usual. They won't appear pathological or completely uncontrollable as a result. Lumion found himself perplexed. Then why were you so miserly when you portrayed Monsieur Ive? He chose to pick up a gold coin of unknown origin. Rentes responded naturally, because the real Ive is like that. I must stay true to the role.